Hey everybody, Casey here with Life Abstract Gaming, and today I want to talk about a certain trend in the gaming industry, and honestly most media in general. I'm talking about copycats. Oftentimes when a game is released that does so many new and innovative things, and most importantly sells well, it gets copied to death. I want to talk about the slew of games that came into existence thanks to the rise in popularity of the Dark Souls series. Before going into the Dark Souls clones, I wanted to touch on some other historical examples of copycats, like the 2D and 3D Mario games, which spawned countless other mascot platformers. The Grand Theft Auto series that popularized the 3D open world concept spawned a different way to design games that's been applied to almost all other game genres in some shape or form. Gears of War and its third-person cover-based mechanics found its way into many other games, and just a little while back, the Batman Arkham games and their combat system was copied in some form or another in several different games. Each of these games were so influential, they caused ripples in the landscape of game development from that point forward, and the Souls series is one of the latest games to join this club. Demon's Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne are all titles developed by From Software that popularized a subgenre of action games I'm personally calling Souls-likes. These games are most strongly categorized by their methodical, timing-based melee combat, as well as a punishing level of difficulty. They also tend to include enemies that respawn in an area after a death, and a story that's primarily told through the in-game descriptions of weapons, armor, and items. It also introduced an antagonistic multiplayer aspect where other players can show up in your game at random to kill you. From Software found mainstream success with the series with the release of Dark Souls 1, after the previously released PS3 exclusive Demon's Souls gained a hardcore cult following. With that success, then came a flood of games inspired by the addicting concepts of the Souls series. Lords of the Fallen by Deck 13 Interactive was probably the first Souls-like. It was released back in 2014, several months after Dark Souls 2, and copied the Souls formula very closely, but took the concept to a vaguely Norse setting. The game garnered generally positive reviews. The developer's follow-up is also a Souls-like called The Surge, that takes the setting to a sci-fi universe with the main character piloting an exosuit. I'm a little more interested in their second effort than I was in the first, so I guess we'll just see how that pans out. Sultan Sanctuary by Ska Studios is a Souls-like that's pretty blatant in its similarities, which is actually fairly impressive since the game is 2D. It managed to translate the Souls series combat onto a 2D plane and meshes the Metroidvania genre with heavily borrowed Souls concepts like the item descriptions telling a story and the gothic horror aesthetic. There are actually a number of 2D Souls-like games. Titan Souls, Shrouded in Sanity, and the yet-to-be-released Below are just a few examples. Nioh by Team Ninja is a Souls-like that I feel took the good aspects of the Dark Souls combat system and improved upon them. The 3D Ninja Gaiden series that Team Ninja was also behind was also known for its extreme difficulty, but sported a far faster hack-and-slash combat system. That spirit was seemingly fused with the slower, more methodical Souls-style system to birth something extremely deep. The Stranger in a Strange Land samurai aesthetic is also pretty interesting and helped to set itself apart from the rest. Nioh released just this past February to very favorable reviews. I think it's probably the best title to tide you over for any Dark Souls fan who's finished all the other games. Code Vein is an upcoming Souls-like that's being developed by Bandai Namco, who was actually the publisher for the Souls games. They were sure to remind everybody of that fact in their promotional trailers for this game, but From Software has nothing to do with this title, so we'll have to see if Bandai Namco can use Code Vein's post-apocalyptic, vampire-themed setting to bring them the kind of money and acclaim that From Software did. The short bits of gameplay shown seem to resemble Bloodborne the most, and is probably why they went with the vampire theme in the first place. There are other games that borrow just a few aspects from the Souls series, so I won't call them Souls-likes, but Watch Dogs 1 and 2 uses the invasion multiplayer mechanic, Destiny uses obscure lore told through in-game items, and Mass Effect Andromeda changes class system to something similar to the Souls series where you essentially pick a set of starting stats for your class, but can spec any way you want after. It's not rare to see copycats in any form of media, but in video games, it's like watching a door being opened for everybody else to walk through, and we as gamers get to reap the benefits of constant improvements to the games we love. So, how do you feel about copycats? Are there any Souls-like games that you plan to check out now? Are there some aspects to the Souls games that you think are done better elsewhere? Let us know. We're listening. Bonus message. Just want to remind you guys to please like our videos and our Facebook page. If you're not already subscribed, please do so on our YouTube channel. Also, if you missed the first Super Barbros party in April, you're in luck because Super Barbros 2 is happening on May 27th. Please check the Facebook page for more details. Thanks.